All right, well, welcome back. It's really Ringwood, and we are so close to the finish line. We can see it. You see it over there?
So close.
You see it?
I see it.
Keep running. We're in the ending days of the campaign, and right now is when you, the voter, should get the chance to see who has contributed to each of the campaigns. I mean, it's important for you, the voter, to know where and even how much was contributed to the campaign of the person or persons that you're thinking of voting for on election day, and particularly for the Ringwood Board of Ed.
All right, so we've talked a lot about the excessive amounts of outside influences and endorsements for the Kids campaign that we've seen from the New Jersey Project, from Chaos and Control, from a bunch of red Republicans, and this is a nonpartisan race. We've also spoken about how little to no transparency and detail exists for the Kids campaign.
Right. I mean, that's the endorsement side. That's the we like you side. So here's an email that says we like that. Copy, paste it, put it in your mailers and send it out there. In New Jersey, there are election law requirements that every candidate, campaign, treasurer, and campaign manager have to follow in an effort to keep the elections process lawful, fair, and open for those that are running. And of course, for us, the citizens who are casting our votes. And you should know that there are penalties and charges that can be filed against any candidate, campaign, or anyone involved that's in violation of any of these laws.
The state of New Jersey has the full compliance manual online if you would like some light reading.
Yeah, we'll include the link to that in the show notes, but don't worry. We're going to help you summarize and get you right to what you needed because, oh my gosh, the research we did for this episode was just mind-numbing, but it's important, so we're here to help.
So we're going to start our episode with comparing how the two campaigns running for Ringwood Board of Ed are showing their desire to be transparent. One of them follows the law, and the other campaign has yet to disclose anything more than who the campaign manager is and where to send the money.
Yeah, so great. We're running. Send us your money.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much where that ends. But let's start where the campaigns essentially began when they filed. Form D2 indicates that you are an organization as a campaign and the candidates that are going to be part of that campaign. It also includes the campaign manager and the treasurer. Now, we'll be displaying a lot of information in this episode because it is a matter of public record. So you can see even more detail for yourself if you go online, but just follow along with us. We've made this whole process very easy for you to follow.
Pause it if you need to so that you can read whatever's on your screen at the time. Here's the For the Kids campaign with Palmisano, Kearney, and Monroe listed with current Board of Ed member Richard Ebersbach as their campaign manager as well as their treasurer.
Well,
interesting.
Okay. Now, here's the visual of the Expect More campaign's Form D2. It shows Teresa Struck, Shane King, Dawn Savastano, and it also shows their campaign manager and treasurer. So at the starting line, everyone did what they were supposed to do. But it's since then that the campaigns go in two very different directions. But first, let's look at the Expect More campaign. Now, again, we've navigated to the State of New Jersey election law website where you can actually look up details about the candidates and their campaigns running for office. All you got to do is just fill in the name of the campaign or the candidate and the office they're running for, and you have the transparency of the reports that they are required to file. You can look at this at any time throughout the campaign, after the campaign, and the years that follow.
Here, we'll see the Expect More campaign has filed Form C1. That discloses contributions made to the campaign. You may not know this, but the New Jersey Election Law Commission imposes deadlines for filing details about donations by policy around 29 days before Election Day, 11 days before Election Day, and then 20 days after Election Day.
Right, and you can file more often as you need to because there might be additional details and additional contributions that have come in. And this allows the candidates and their campaigns, of course, to be transparent with the commission and with you, the voting public, because there are minimum requirements that are defined by the law. And since it's public record, let's dig into this in some detail because contributions that are not over $300 from a single person or entity, well, they don't have to even be shared. You don't have to report them on any one of these forms at all. But if you do contribute more than once or somehow spread it out over a bunch of smaller donations to the campaign or give a little bit to each of the candidates as part of a campaign on the same campaign, once you've hit that $300 mark, the details have to be filed by the campaign themselves. And we see here on this form from September 20th, there were 2 donations from individuals that were above $300 for the Expect More campaign.
And then to be compliant with the law, they filed Form C1 again on October 10th.
And then we arrive on the most recent filing from October 28th. And we see a contribution here from the NJEA Political Action Committee for $3,000. And if you're listening and you're now shouting at your screen, boom, gotcha! Expect more, I knew it. You might want to take a breath on that. And let me tell you why. We've known about the support of the REA, which is, of course, the Ringwood Education Association, for weeks now. Remember, these are the teachers and professionals that work in Ringwood schools. Yes, teachers and professionals who are NJEA members. Now, the NJEA is the teachers union, and as part of that organized labor group, they have a political action committee, and it acts as their association's collective voice for public policy advocacy. And that NJEA PAC, they can support candidates from state legislatures to school board candidates who they determine share the values of prioritizing the needs of the community's children alongside the understandable expectation of taxpayers while committing to preserving and advancing a standard of excellence. I am reading that straight out of the endorsement from the REA. And if you thought that that $3,000 contribution was a boom moment, you're kind of late to the table, because we already knew that the professionals, the teachers that work with our kids every day have already voiced their support. Now, this is just a way to financially contribute to that support.
What you see here is a full transparency of where contributions came from. And again, with the exception of some of the more local individual people giving a financial showing of support, there's nothing new to report here.
Right. Now, let's look at the reports filed by For the Kids. Wait, hold on. Let me look.
Nah.
Yeah, there's none because they haven't filed any.
Why could that be?
No, why would that be? We don't know because we can't see into their clubhouse and they don't share too much. But I don't know. Let's talk about that for a second. It's an honest mistake. I mean, they've been so busy having fundraisers and wine tasting.
No. Cheese tasting.
Sorry, that was a cheese tasting. Apologies. And inviting talk show hosts to come to our town and getting endorsements from one political party in a nonpartisan race. I mean, they were so busy doing that. Maybe that's it. They just forgot to file. That could be the thing, right?
Maybe they don't know how to do the paperwork required to be compliant with the law. That could be trouble.
And that would definitely make me question their campaign manager's ability to run an effective campaign, let alone on the board. Anyway, we'll get past that. Sorry, I don't want to get my editorial in there, but it could also be something about not wanting you, the voter, to see before you cast your vote where the money and support came from.
We've already connected For the Kids to the New Jersey Project and their desire to cause chaos and control.
And have any voice as a puppet in every school board that they can get their hands on. This is what we call an outside influence that, if elected, becomes the new puppet masters in our schools. Gone will be your ability to be part of the school system because their candidates or potentially current board members will take their direction and not yours, not your kid's best interest, and they'll take that direction from where the influence and likely the money came from, which is outside of Ringwood.
This is why we have laws to ensure transparency happens so you as a citizen and a voter can be informed even when the candidate or campaign tries to limit the flow of information.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely important to know who is actually doing the contributions, who is supporting the campaign, and who's endorsing those campaigns that you're considering giving your vote to on election day. I mean, think about it. If you found out that you voted for a person that, you went to the ballot box that day, you made your choice, and you found out after the fact that they were more loyal to an outside organization than to you, your community, and your interest, you would probably feel pretty foolish, and you wish you had known about this information sooner.
I know, I would.
I know. I mean, but again, that's why there's a lack of transparency here. It's about telling you what you want to hear, but when the rubber hits the road and the proof needs to be out there, the feet get dragged, and then you'll find out what happens after you've made your decision.
Yeah, this is For the Kids, par for the course. They're following their limited disclosure, no answers, no transparency playbook again this time.
But this time, the accountability is not just to you, the voter, it's actually to the campaign laws of the state of New Jersey. And if they fall short, they only have themselves and their campaign manager, current BOE member Richard Ebersbach, to thank.
And we aren't sure who did the PowerPoint mic drop the other day to help someone understand it.
but it worked pretty well.
Yes, it did. It was awesome.
I mean, PowerPoint is a dying medium. That being said, that was so perfectly constructed as to, if you're doing this, then you need to do this, and if you didn't do this, then it was awesome.
It was good.
It was great.
Thank you.
So to whoever did that, and maybe to the For the Kids campaign and your campaign manager, if you weren't sure the stuff that you were supposed to do from a filing and a deadline standpoint, consider this episode our way to say, here, get compliant, don't break the rules, you're welcome. Now, many of you have been listening to our episodes before, but if you haven't, and this is your first time listening to Really Ringwood, let's quickly go through some of what we've already covered as the motivations and actions of For the Kids and where they're likely getting their support from, and if elected, will likely take their orders from.
First, we have the New Jersey Project and Chaos and Control. That's the far-right group looking to gain control of school boards by supporting candidates in their bid to be elected.
Now, this is the same organization that created that false narrative of a closet in order to make you angry and come to their side of the story. And let's be honest, this is not what we want or need in Ringwood at all. And it is certainly not what we would want on the school board.
Have you seen their attacks, their mailers, Facebook posts, their letters trying to scare you into giving them money? For the Kids attacked the teachers and painted them as the enemy.
And remember, one of those candidates is an NJEA member teacher herself, Melissa Carney.
Right. That's right.
Now, not everyone received the piece of mail that you're looking at on the screen from Richard Eversbach. So this may be the first time you're reading this. And like we did earlier,
feel free to pause it.
Feel free to pause it, because there's a lot to unpack in there. We're not going to do it all here on the show, but aside from the inflammatory and attacking tone of the mail, look at the high value donations that they were seeking. Do you make a contribution over $300? Do you see how they're asking for that all the way up to $1,000? But yet their reporting has yet to disclose any contributions above that amount. So they've been looking for that. They probably got it, but they didn't tell you where it came from.
Right. They're not documenting anything. They don't want you to remember that or pay attention to that if you never saw it. We never said that. Show us where we said that.
So we ask again. Our theme of this entire series has been, where's the focus? WTF, right? Because it's not on running an effective campaign, nor is it on Ringwood, nor is it on our schools.
And speaking of what we don't need on the school board, we don't need an elected official that lacks the understanding and thinks that displaying, promoting, or just outwardly showing that an AR-15 has a place in schools in any decision-making position.
Yeah, we don't need that. We don't want that. We've already covered that in mass school shootings. This weapon has inflicted mass casualties. And we as parents and community members, we have thoughts and concerns and emotions almost every day about, when I put my kid on the bus, are they going to come home? And we as a community deserve someone better than what we saw in that meeting to serve on the school board, because they just don't get it. I mean, so folks, we have spent the last few weeks together laying out the other side of the story. You know, that side of the story that the For the Kids campaign, and I mean, let's be honest, since we're coming up on holidays, that the last Noel has tried to keep from your eyes in our community Facebook groups.
We know that Mary Smart and Melinda Cook, aka Melissa, and Matt Hutchinson, aka Andrew, and others have tried to get in your heads as the alter egos of those campaigning for or are currently members of the Board of Ed.
I mean, we did our episode calling out the fake profiles. We saw a dramatic increase in anonymous posts from that moment on. So it appears that what we've been doing here as the outcasts has had an impact.
The banned and blocked call them out for what they've been doing for so long.
I mean, the thing is, we're giving all of you more insight than you would have otherwise been aware of because of the banning, the blocking, the bullying that we've all faced here in Ringwood.
We know you wanted to hear that side of the story. Whether you agree with it, you disagree with it, you're thinking about it, and that's what you should be doing right now.
Yeah, this election is going to determine the pathway forward for our children, our community, and our future. And honestly, it just comes down to this. One set of candidates have what is best for their own outside interest in mind, with their connections and seemingly ghost contributions that aren't properly reported. They are not truly focused on anything that has to do with making Ringwood better.
And another set of candidates has asked you to expect more of yourselves, expect more of our community, expect more of them by showing respect, transparency, collaborating with the community, and remaining focused on our schools, our community, and our children. Ethics matter. Words matter, and facts matter. False narratives and outside influences have no place in Ringwood.
Yeah, if you've listened to any of our episodes, this has been the chorus of just about every single one that we've done, and that is so important. It's up for you to decide. Do you believe us? Do you not believe us? That's again, that's you. But we're here to give that voice that you aren't hearing in your community groups a chance to be heard, and you've come. And with that, as a show, we're going to take a little time off until just after the election, but we'll be back later in November to kind of unpack everything that happened while we were away. So with that, folks, like I said, it's up to you. Vote. Vote informed. Vote because you expect more from those you choose to put in office. And thanks for indulging us and tuning in to Really Ringwood.
Thank you.